Semenya has also worked with the greats of world music and composed for Steven Spielberg's Color Purple movie. He joins us now. Welcome, Caiphus, and thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me over.
Your favorite Madiba moment?
My favorite Madiba moment, I remember the first time we saw him, because like everybody else, we just knew that he was in prison. And the first time when we were back here in the country, it was myself, Leta, my wife, Miriam Makeva, Hugh Masekela, Jonas Gwangwa, and Abdullah Ibrahim. So we were doing a show in 1991 at the Orlando Stadium, and he wanted to meet us. So we went to his house. So when we got to the house, he was not there. And then he came in about 5 minutes later. When he came in, we all rose up, yes, to greet him. And we were waiting for someone to introduce us, but he went first to Miriam. He says, Miriam, Makeva, and he said, good to see you. He went to Leta, Mbulu, good to see you. And he called all of us by our names. By name. And we were surprised because we were waiting to be introduced.
You were waiting to introduce yourself.
Yes, and then he says to all of us, all of you, your music kept us alive and hopeful in prison, You did a splendid job, and don't you give it up. You must continue this great work. Our people are very proud of you.
Wow, yes. That was material for you. Yes. Now, you were involved in the Wembley Concerts, which had like massive patronage. Take us through the organization of that, but also the conscientization that went with those concerts.
Well, how I got involved in it, I got a call from Wali Serute. I was in LA, and he said, we're doing this tribute to Mandela. Can you please come down, come and work with Jonas Gwangwa and put this package together, the South African component of the whole thing? Because they were all musicians from all over the world, British and so on. And then I flew over, and when I got there, all the South African musicians were there, who were in London and Europe and so on. And I was given the task of producing and conducting this thing, myself and Jonas. And there were all these artists, and I really didn't want to do it, but then we had to audition everybody. We came up with a song and we listened to everybody. And most beautifully, Maralo flew in. I remember the second day. So the first day was not that great. It didn't really go down well. The second day, Maralo flew in with Sipho Gumede. And once Sipho and Kondrizikubu. And that started, to bring the flavor, because most of the guys were out there were still playing old music from South Africa. So Mara, Kondrizikubu, and Sipho Gumede brought in the flavor of South Africa now.
Fresh from home.
Fresh from home. And then from that day on, we started working. We spent about 4 days and we put it together, and we were ready.
Did you know that, he was going to be released soon thereafter?
Yes, there was already, the rumor was there that it was going to be released. And the concert was a big success. It had all kinds of, Denzel Washington was there. There were all kinds of great musicians and artists.
We've run out of time, unfortunately, by Caiphus. What do you think South Africans should be doing in honor of Madiba, especially musicians?
Well, if you look at his life, he dedicated himself to an ideal, and he lived, to realize that ideal. So when it comes to musicians too, we really should dedicate ourselves to serve our communities. Not only, as musicians, to go to concerts, but there's also social responsibility that we can also be involved in certain things that contribute towards the betterment of our communities.
Okay, first, thanks very much, Peter. We've run out of time. But thanks very much for sharing your favorite Madiba moment with us. Caiphus Semenya, legendary musician, talking to us.